This podcast is supported by patrons. You can find a full list of them in the description of this episode. Hello, listeners of Good Morning BSS World podcast. This is Wiktor, Doktor, and this is the 100th episode of the podcast, so the anniversary one. And I have a very, very special guest with me, who is Peter Ryan from Ryan Advisory from Montreal, Canada. Hi, Peter. How are you?
Hi, Victor. Good to be here, and congratulations on 100 episodes. I'm flattered to be your guest on this very special edition.
You are already, I think, third time in my podcast, but I enjoy talks with you because every time you bring fantastic news, which are related either to BPO or to CX or to the global outsourcing things or to some analysis of the market and so on and so on. And I must say, I do enjoy a lot, first of all, talking to you, but also reading all of those publications which you are sharing globally. They give a lot of value to the market, and I am so happy to see people very, very soon in Atlanta who are standing behind this great work. And mentioning that, the main topic for today is actually to discuss the event where you are one of the organizers. I would say you are like a godfather or a father of this event. So let's go deeper into this subject. And the subject is CX Outsourcers 2024. Which edition of this event it is?
This is the 5th edition, Victor. And as you've been a participant at a number of these, you'll recall that the one that we did last year was held in Glasgow. And we had a great edition in Scotland. We were so happy with it. Had a great turnout and some, I think, tremendous mind share on different topics. Now, prior to that, you will also recall having participated in Las Vegas at the third event. Now, for listeners who know the event, they'll realize that we were obviously, like everybody else, impacted by the P word, by the pandemic. And we had to put our event on hold between 2022 and 2019. Our 2019 edition was held in Windsor, just outside London, at the Sir Christopher Wren Hotel, an absolutely stunning venue. And our very first one was in Las Vegas at the Golden Nugget in 2018. That was the inaugural event. And, you know, Victor, you mentioned that I'm maybe one of the fathers or the godfather. I have to absolutely give a shout out to the other two parents or godparents of the event, Traci Freeman, who is with Believe Consulting in Johannesburg, and Mark Angus with Knowledge Executive. He is based in the Washington, D.C. area. It's very much a team effort. It's very much a three of us who are looking to try and drive the best possible topics, the most provocative issues that are debated, discussed at CX Outsourcers each year. And I'm very excited for the Atlanta event, very excited to see you, as well as the rest of the sellout crowd that is going to be just descending upon Georgia in the very near future.
Thank you for this a little bit of history of the event. So this is the 5th one, and I can see like a ping pong. Yeah. So this is the Americas and the Europe, then Americas and the Europe, and then again Americas. So I am expecting next year it's going to be Europe.
Well, I think that would be a good expectation. You know, if you were a betting man, I think if it was a roulette wheel, you could probably be pretty sure you'd be putting your money on black and red in that sense. Also, we just won't say where. We just won't say where.
Yeah, that for sure. But to be honest, just analyzing this, how the event is growing and how the CX world is growing, I would say that I am also looking a little bit on Africa destination. So this is very much in my interest when seeing what is growing in Africa. So I wouldn't be very much sure about my betting for Europe next year, because maybe somehow this may be also the African destination where they are very good delivery centers over there.
There are some excellent delivery centers. I think, Victor, at this point, I would be remiss if I told you that Africa would be under consideration. It's not for 2025. You never know for the future. But one of the things about CX Outsourcers that we really do enjoy is the chance to look at some of these more cutting edge destinations, not just in terms of CX delivery, but also in terms of potentially hosting the event. So I would not rule Africa out at some point.
Okay, so I will bet Europe then. Anyway, so we will see how it goes. And you mentioned two other people who are standing behind the event
Yeah,
beside you. This is Traci and Mark, excellent
correct.
experts. And yes, this is great to see how they work and how they engage with those events. So if we are talking now about some names, maybe you can mention us few interesting names who we may expect during CXO Atlanta 2024.
There's some very interesting people. We have our conference chairs, Indu Badlani. Now, you might recall meeting Indu on a number of occasions, Victor. She spoke at your conference last year. In fact, she was on the panel I chaired in April in Warsaw. Indu is a CX staffing expert. She's based in Manila, and she has graciously agreed to be our conference chair. She is going to do just a bang up job. We also have a lot of fantastic people doing keynote presentations. Just some of the ones that stand out are going to be Chris Gillen, who's going to be doing a talk on where Gen AI sits from the context of CX in 2024. We know there's a lot of hype around this technology. We understand that there's a lot of chatter, but Chris is going to bring, as only Chris can do, a real world view to this topic, and really, I think, enunciate where it sits now, where it's going near, medium, and long term. We're also very excited that we're going to be welcoming Leanne Rollins back to the stage. Victor, you'll remember Leanne gave a tremendous job in terms of conference chair in Glasgow. This year, she's going to be doing a talk looking at the opportunity for outsourcers to profit from excellence in digital delivery. Now, we all know that as we look at how digital non-voice delivery is being handled by enterprises, it's diabolical. If you do a quick LinkedIn search, you'll see so many people complaining about how email, web chat, chatbots, social media messaging, it's just being handled so poorly. And Leanne's going to talk a little bit about how the enterprise set can look to the outsourcing community to help them deliver better, and what the outsourcers need to do to be better equipped to do so. We're going to be having some great talks focused on more North American factors. And Victor, as you know, so many companies from around the world come to CX Outsourcers. And as we're in the USA, we felt it would be appropriate to give a refresher course for American companies, as well as an immersion for foreign companies that are looking at the US market to understand the nuances of the Hispanic community. Now, just to give you some context, 65 million people in the United States speak Spanish as a mother tongue. Of that, 50 million speak Spanish at home. And a statistic I saw the other day, imagine that if the US Hispanic community was its own country, it would be the fifth largest GDP in the world. So if you don't have a US Hispanic strategy for CX ready, then you're already like losing the game. So we're very fortunate to have from the Hispanic Media Center, the chair of the Hispanic Media Center, Alex Munoz, who's going to be doing a talk about the approaches to the US Hispanic community for the outsourcing providers, for the CX community, what they need to do in order to drive the best possible results and to make sure that they're go-tos for enterprises looking to service not just the broader English language community, but the burgeoning Spanish-speaking community in the States. And I think it's also fair to say, Victor, that from the panels that we're going to be hearing, there's just some awesome ones. You're going to be chairing a panel on compliance. We've got a panel focused around ESG, which we know is a very hot topic right now, not just in outsourcing and CX, but really across industries. We've got a panel focused around offshoring and nearshoring. What are some of the new markets to look at? What are some of the more exciting locations? We'll be announcing, as we've done the last couple of years at your event in Poland, this year we'll be announcing the top 5 most favored offshore CX destinations in Atlanta. So we'll be getting a sense about what the buyers are looking for from the outsourcing partners in regards to the different locations they're going to. We've got something very fun and funky that, Victor, I think you'll be interested in, a podcasters panel. So we know that CX podcasting has become massive. And we have been very fortunate enough to secure Mark Hillary from the CX Files, the podcast that I co-host with Mark. We've got Rod Jones from Rod's Pod in South Africa, and Yannick Grant, who is a podcaster par excellence in her own right from Jamaica. So we're really looking forward to this. And this is also going to be an event where we will have our buyers forum. So 3 different buyers of CX and outsourcing services. We've got one from Canada, one from the States, and one from the UK, who are all going to be coming and sharing their thoughts on what they're looking for in the ideal outsourcing partnership. So in a cook's tour, that's what the agenda looks like.
Perfect. I need to go into geography now because you mentioned already
Yeah,
Canada, US,
yeah,
Jamaica, South Africa,
yeah.
Poland, UK, Manila, so Philippines. What other countries are you expecting to be represented during the CXO?
Well, we've got people who are going to be coming in from Egypt. We are very fortunate to have both speakers as well as attendees from Egypt. We have individuals coming in from France. Ireland is another country that we can absolutely name check. We've got a great delegation coming in from Mexico, as well as some folks from Colombia. We have delegates who are going to be coming in from different parts of the Caribbean. Barbados, we'd mentioned Jamaica already, Dominican Republic. So those are just some of the destinations that are going to be represented by both speakers as well as attendees.
So it
Oh,
looks like
Georgia as well. We've got folks. One of our platinum sponsors is Enterprise Georgia, so we couldn't be more pleased to have representation from the emerging nearshore in Europe.
Georgia is a very interesting destination, I must say. This is the country which, from a few years already, are showing their readiness for growing the BPO
Yeah,
industry of various scope of the services, not only CX but also the IT ones, for example, and so on and so on. So it's great to be able to see them also being present on the CXO, just sharing information about
absolutely.
them as a destination.
Absolutely, Victor. No, we're very fortunate in that regard, and I think what it speaks to is the fact that the CX world, the CX outsourcing world, is very broad. It's very diverse, and we look to try and get as much representation as we possibly can each year to make sure that people are getting the full picture and a good understanding about what's happening in the different regions, in both established as well as emerging locations.
It looks that the agenda is absolutely full, and it's great to hear and that there it is a part for the keynote speakers and also for the discussion panels
Yeah,
because you always get a little bit different, let's say, orientation on some subjects when they are presented either by one person or by the group of people who may have different point of view or may just have a different experience even in taking care of some areas. I know that only now, after exchanging a couple of emails with people who are going to be present in my panel, that the view on the compliance from Jamaica, US, and Europe is a little bit different. Yeah, so this
yeah.
might be a very, very interesting chat. Peter, what besides the, let's say, the knowledge part of the event, because this is
Mhm.
the main part what people are coming to CXO just to get familiar with the newest trends and to talk to meet to and meet to the experienced CX fellows. What other attractions, I would say, you are planning for the CXO this year?
One of the things that I think is a real attraction for people to attend is the fact that there's a lot of networking, Victor. And something that I'm really pleased at is the fact that we have been able, over the course of the past 4 or 5 years, to develop an ecosystem where we get people that will sign up year on year, not just for, as you say, the knowledge and the insight, but also for the fact to connect and reconnect with people who they might have met previously or potentially new friends and colleagues. And to me, this is a very important thing. On the back of CX outsourcers, we have had partnerships made, we've had acquisitions that have been made, we've had lifelong friendships. And I always love to use the example that somebody who you know quite well, Nadia Pace, ended up meeting Cheryl Parwater from South Africa in Las Vegas, and they just became fast friends. In fact, I believe Cheryl attended Nadia's wedding that happened a few months later, and then Nadia and her husband went on honeymoon into South Africa and spent a lot of the time with Cheryl. I mean, you can't make these stories up. These are things that happen, and they're wonderful. And we're just happy that CX outsourcers can be effectively the conduit to make this happen. Now, apart from the networking, we do have a few fun activities. We're going to be hosting an amazing opening night dinner, opening night cocktail party on the roof of Terminus 330, where the event is going to be held. Now, Terminus 330 has been ranked one of the top industrial chic event spaces in the United States. It's an old coffee factory that actually has a bit of a mafioso history to it. In fact, in the basement, there's a speakeasy during Prohibition that people used to gather in for a few drinks, and there's still a safe with a bullet hole from back in the day. I don't even know what happened. I don't want to know what happened, but that's opening night. on night one, the night one dinner, we're going to be hosting an amazing supper that's going to be next door at at their beer market, which is a German themed restaurant and a very authentic German restaurant as well. It will remind people of what it's like being around Oktoberfest in Germany. It's going to be a great time to be had by all. And as you know, Victor, we always have a closing day event. And what we're going to be doing this year, after the event is finished up around 1 o'clock and everybody vacates the premises, we've got 2 old-fashioned trolleys that will take everybody around Atlanta for a historical tour, as well as a chance to see some of the newer and more funky parts of the city, such as the Olympic Park or the Coca-Cola Museum, just as some examples.
And at this time of a year, the weather probably every day is quarantined. So the tours
Here's
are
hoping.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, okay, okay.
Here's hoping,
That's
buddy.
that sounds very, very interesting. When you were talking about Nadia and Cheryl, it looks like that this is the networking on much higher level than normally expected.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what I like about the event. It's the fact that you do get that higher level of touch. You get that higher level of almost like infiltration of professional and personal melding together, and people really coming together. It's just great that way.
I must ask one more question. In Ryan Strategic Advisory, you every year are running a lot of professional analytical work. Yeah, so where
Yeah,
you are exploring the trends, global trends, and you are analyzing the destinations or some other areas which are connected very closely to the CX industry as such. And I know already from 2 previous editions of the CXO that you are sharing the updates from the market.
correct.
What we can expect from your role during the CXO? Are you going to surprise us with some new data or information
Yeah,
about some new reports?
there will be some data that I will be sharing. So, Victor, as you know, annually you alluded to the fact that we conduct a buyer's survey, the front office CX Omnibus survey. Now, we have literally just completed this survey exercise. We sounded this year 750 enterprise CX decision makers. So the customers, the clients of the outsourcing community, the clients of CX technology firms. Now, what I will be doing is presenting the highlights of this, so people have a good idea going into 2024 exactly what the buying community is saying that they are looking for from an outsourcing partner or from a CX services partner. So I think it's very important. We're going to set the stage with that. I will be doing a talk. I'll be the first speaker, believe it or not. So I have to behave myself at the cocktail party the night before, I guess. But I'm also anticipating that when I get up on stage, that's when everybody's going to decide it's time to go out and get a coffee or to use the washroom.
I was expecting that you will be the opening guy of this event. So, yeah, you need to behave during the prior night. 2 more questions for the very, very end of our talk today. One of them is, are there still available seats for this event?
Well, CX Outsourcers 2024 is sold out. We actually posted the sold out sign on our website a few days ago, but I would encourage anybody, if they're interested in coming, to please let us know. There are always individuals who find that they aren't able to make it for personal or for professional reasons, and we have a waiting list. So if somebody wants to be on the waiting list, there's definitely that possibility.
So the last but not least, because we were mentioning that it is coming, it is in Atlanta, it will
Yeah,
last 2 days plus the before night, I would say, but we
yeah.
didn't mention the dates. So what are the dates of this event?
The opening night cocktail party is the 30th of April, and the event itself is the 1st and 2nd of May.
So now you know what we can expect in Atlanta in very, very beginning of May 2024. I must say from my side that this is absolutely the event to be. This is the event to watch. This is the event to take some insights out of it. I was already twice on the CXO, so now this is my third visit to this event, and I already know I will enjoy it. Peter, thank you very much for all of the insights. Any last information which we can share with our audience?
The only last thing I'd say, Victor, is a thank you to you for giving me the chance to talk a little bit about the event, and really a thank you to yourself for the promotion that you do around the event each year. I really appreciate the fact that you're coming. You're going to be a panel chair. I think it's very important that you bring such a level of insight and really wisdom in terms of where the industry is sitting. And the fact that you're willing to travel and provide that to our audience is greatly appreciated. And if I can just give a plug for your event each year, I would certainly say that I've had the chance to participate in a couple, and I'm looking forward to the next one coming up. Don't sell your event short. I think you bring an equal, if not great, just a tremendous amount of value to the CX world, to the BPO world, in terms of the work that you're doing with Pro Progressio. And just, I would say, keep it up, because you're a credit to what we do.
Thank you very much, Peter. I absolutely do enjoy everything what is happening all around the CX world. And even if we are in the AI or in the technology era, I still believe that the CX is made on people, and a lot of things are being done by people within this industry, and this is what needs to be continued. So thank you.
Thank you for
very
saying
much.
that. Thank you. Because, I think people forget that sometimes, that this is an industry that's centered around people. And it's very easy to get caught in the hype cycles around different technologies and the flavor of the week or flavor of the month. But when it comes right down to it, it is a people business, Wiktor. And thank you for really reiterating that.
So let's see what will be the insights from this year's edition. And then I look forward to this European one. I'm really, really curious which city is going to be picked up for the 2025. Everything in front of us. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Wiktor.